Okay, so start off by opening the image that you're going to edit from your photo shoot. Crop it down to a good size if needed. Then what we want to do is open up the things that you're going to cover the face with. So that might be flowers, images of pressed flowers, other things maybe that you might want to include as well to do with your theme. You might want to also print out your images and cover them with like pressed, like actual real flowers as well. Do an edit like that, that would be really good. Or once you've done a copy of your image, then photocopy that and put flowers over that. Something to think about. Then all I'm doing is just editing the brightness and the contrast. So you do that by going to Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast. You might also want to go to Colour Balance to get the right sort of colour theme that links to your artist as well. Because she has this kind of muted palette. Then what you're going to do is select the flowers that you're going to impose over the portrait. This is much easier to do if the background is plain or if the background is blurred, because Photoshop will more easily select the object. So for example, here I'm going to use the quick selection tool, and you'll see in a minute that I just click on the flower and it automatically knows that it's there. So it's much easier if you have like smart images where the background is plain. So quick selection tool, select the flower. You can either press Ctrl+C for copy, or you can go to select, inverse and delete, and then drag that layer into the tab where your image is. Then you might want to change the color of that. If it's too blue, for example, might not go with your color scheme. So you can change the hue and the saturation, the lightness, the darkness of it, etc. Or what you might want to do is go to Image, Adjustments and Colour Balance and change the amount of colour that's in the image. Up to you how you edit that. You might want to do one of each, see what happens, or experiment with that. Then edit Free Transform to change the size of it. You can also rotate it by just hovering it outside of the little squares. Then you can duplicate the layer to produce another one and reposition that or change the size of it. In this case, I'm just going to change the color of it. So again, Image Adjustments, Hue Saturation. Then I'm going to choose some other images from the other images that I've collected. So here I've just pressed Ctrl+C, go into there, press Ctrl+V to paste it in, and it will automatically create its own layer. Again, Ctrl+C, then Ctrl+V. Edit, Free Transform, just going to rotate this one. And then as you can see, it's above all the other images, but because it's cut in half, I want it to be below. So all I've done is just dragged that layer downwards to make it below the other images. And then here it's selected the stalk, so you might not want that. So the easiest way to get rid of that is to use the lasso tool, hold down Alt, and just select it, and it will deselect it. If you want to add in bits, you just press Shift. Again, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. Move it to where you want it to be, change the size of it, change the colour, etc. until you get the composition that you like. File, export as JPEG once you've got an image that you have edited and you like it. Also save it as a Photoshop file to keep all of those layers. You can create other images in the same document by just hiding those by clicking on the eye icon. This is where you might want to be a little bit more experimental now and relate it to your theme. So you might want to look up symbols to do with feminism, female power, whatever you can think of that relates, just to represent that theme a little bit more strongly. And then what you might want to do is think about other ways that you can show your idea. So here I've just got some post-it notes. You might want to print this out and handwrite onto them. You might want to think about messages or pressures that you've got in your mind map that you could put into the image here. You might want to scan in some post-it notes and edit them onto it. Have a little think about what you could add in and how you could make it a more personal response. And then once you've edited that, again, you want to go to File, Export as JPEG, and then you might also want to go to File, Export as Photoshop file just once more, so that you've got all of those layers and everything that you've done just all in one file, so it's all together and you haven't lost it, and you can re-edit it or add or change things later on.